Alrighty guys, sorry about that.
आउने क्रममा बाटोमा मेन्स भएको थिएँ र मलाई बाटोमा हिँड्दा हिँड्दै नराम्रो महसुस लाग्यो अनि म फर्केँ घर गएर मेरो मम्मीले भनेको चाहिँ म 7 दिनसम्म पुग्न हो मेरो आमाले मेन्स भन्ने कुरा अशुद्ध हो नराम्रो हो भनेर भन्नुभयो मलाई थाहा गर्न बस्दाखेरि एकदमै डर लागेको कतै सर्पले डस्छ कि कोही केटाहरू आउँछन् कि भन्ने एउटा खुल्ला किसिमको उठ्न बस्दाखेरि मलाई एकदमै डर लाग्यो
मेरो नाम लीला सिंह हो म डेस्फर गर्ल्स कालीकोट न्याट्री गाविस स्कुलमा काम गर्छु म थाउपडीमा हुर्किएको एकदमै अरूभन्दा फरक लाग्यो एकदमै डर लाग्यो छोरी भएर किन जन्मियो जस्तो पनि लाग्यो किन भन्दाखेरि दिनमा चाहिँ कसैको अनुहार हेर्न नमिल्ने वनमा अथवा ओडारमा चाहिँ लुक्नुपर्ने अवस्था थाउपडी प्रथा परापूर्व कालदेखि चल्दै आएको चलन हो महिला तथा किशोरीहरूलाई कसरी चाहिँ सुरक्षित राख्ने भन्ने चाहिँ हाम्रो चाहिँ लक्ष्य हो हाम्रो चाहिँ बिआरसीले बनाएको करिकुलम अनुसार चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ महिला तथा किशोरीहरूलाई शिक्षा दिने काम गर्छौँ जस्तै चाहिँ महिनावारी सम्बन्धी कसरी हात कसरी धुने मानवीय विघटनबाट कसरी चाहिँ बस्ने र पुनः पर्यावरण गएर पर्यावरण मिल्ने चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ प्याडहरू वितरण गर्छौँ थाउपडी प्रथालाई चाहिँ अन्त्य गर्न त्यति सजिलो चाहिँ छैन तर चाहिँ हामीले केही सफलता चाहिँ हासिल गरेका छौँ सानो गोठमा बस्थे तर अहिले चाहिँ फराकिलो र सफा ठाउँमा बसेर गरेको पाएको
हाम्रो समाजमा होइन महिनावारी भएको बेला महिनावारीलाई यो के अरे पाप हो होइन महिनावारी भनेको के हो होइन अनि महिनावारीको बारेमा हामीले एकदम दियौँ होइन सत्य शिक्षा प्याडहरूको बारेमा होइन प्याडहरू उहाँहरूले यो त कसरी युज गर्ने खाने हुन्थेन नि मैले यसको तालिमले गर्दा महिनावारी पाप होइन स्कुलमा पढ्नु हो भन्ने यसमा गफ दिएको प्याडले गर्दा म एक दिन पनि नछुटाएर म रेगुलर स्कुल
महिनावारी भनेको अशुद्ध कुरा होइन संसारका महिलाहरू समाजमा भूमिका उनीहरूको अधिकारको कुरा हो यसलाई परिवर्तन गर्नको लागि थाउपडी प्रथालाई परिवर्तन गर्न जरुरी छ
What stood out to you guys? What kind of did you get from that video? Anything particular?
I didn't realize how looked down upon it was in other countries.
It's insane. Like I said, this is kind of area specific. That's pretty specific to Nepal. But yeah, people don't understand what's happening, and whether they believe it's a demon or they're dying or whatever, it can be terrifying. Anything else?
I think the big takeaway is that as we educate them, they're not afraid of it. They get the real facts and are able to be empowered by it. And like you said last time, it's able to empower not only them, but the people around them and their society. So it can make a big impact. She didn't miss school, which probably means she got, I don't know if they have grades over there, but she learned more, you know. Can really empower the society.
For sure. I like that you got that that's one thing that always stands out to me, is she says, because of Days for Girls, I'm regular in school. Like, how much do we take for granted, you know, that we can just go to school? We don't have to worry about our health when we're going to school. One other thing with that, women menstruate 3,000 days on average. Oops. 3,000 days. It seems odd. On average throughout their life, and so that's why it's called Days for Girls, is because we're giving those days back to them. They don't have to spend it in hiding or worry about their health or embarrassed even, you know. One other thing, well, before I go on, anything else that kind of stood out to you guys?
I just thought it was interesting also. It seemed to me like the Days for Girls, people were respectful of the culture that they went to, but they were really just there to help the girls and help educate them and help them to be healthy with their feminine hygiene. And so I think that's important too, in whatever culture you go to be respectful of that, but then be there to help girls specifically.
This, I wasn't going to mention this, but did you notice, so Days for Girls, the idea of it was born in Washington State, and it didn't show any, like, Americans. We are enabling women around the globe to also help each other, and also we're enabling them to start up businesses on their own, so it's really kind of helping them in all aspects of life. Love that. This next video kind of goes more into depth on one thing that she said. She mentioned that because of Days for Girls, we are able to help women avoid human trafficking, and we're enabling them to do so. So we'll go into it a bit more.
Let's start here. It's a big world with lots of women, and they all share one thing. But for this girl, in this part of the world, or this part of the world, or this part, this one thing is a big, important part of her story. This is when she's faced with new challenges and hard choices. The choice to go here or not. And if she goes here, how long before this one thing becomes too much of an obstacle? She'll manage as best she can. She'll deal with this obstacle with perseverance and the resources she has access to. She'll keep her dream in view, but it will get harder as she falls behind. She'll suffer socially, economically, and personally. And there could come a day when she's fallen so far behind that she can't overcome that obstacle anymore. And she might not even continue going to school, which means she might have children before she's ready, or lose sight of her dreams for her future. And despite her ambitions, her story will stay right here, period. But there is something that can be done. She needs access to affordable supplies, support, and information. Let's turn this into this. Knowledge, confidence, opportunity, power. For this girl, and millions of other girls around the world who are working to reach their full potential. For their future families and their communities. This is more than a mental health issue. It's a human rights issue. A period should not begin a sentence. It should start a conversation. With our partners, PATH creates affordable menstrual care solutions to reach every girl. Help us spread the word.
That's actually not the video I was thinking of, but we'll just go on. The other video talks about how when they aren't going to school, that's only part of the other video that I was going to show you. When people don't go to school, or these women don't go to school, they become desperate because they can't maintain a job. They don't have that formal education. And so they're kind of sentenced to either one of two things: early child marriage or sex exploitation. And that's how they sustain their lives, is they're forced to have sex with people, whether it be at a young age, or, well, in both cases at a young age, or, I don't know. Anyway, Do you guys have your laptops? If you don't, I'm pretty sure you can do it on your phone also. I'm gonna ask you to get onto daysforreals.com or .org. We're gonna go to our work once you're there. Is everyone there? Go to our education and trainings. Scroll down a little bit to AWH Distribution 101. That stands for Ambassador of Women's Health 101. You're going to register for that. It's free, don't worry.
Wait, what do you get registered for AWH 101?
Yeah. It's a free registration. Is everyone at the same place? Sorry.
Just have me use that information.
Sorry.
Name and stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead and start registering once you're there. Who's not there? So our work, education and trainings. Yeah, here, I'll go back. So our work, the second tab, education and trainings, brings us to this page. You're gonna scroll down a little bit. You can either click on this or this one, or just come down here. Register for AWH. I don't know why it's not pulling up. There we go. All right, for some reason this. Is everyone like registering at this point?
I like the modules page.
If
Okay.
you've already done, so I have
It's showing. I'm not, I didn't put my-
Done some. You're an expert, sorry. Oh yeah, you did this. Well, if you allow me, because I can get Well, I don't think that's the same thing, but that's $55.
Wait, what's it?
AWH, right?
Yeah.
AWH 101.
101. Alrighty. There.
And then just enroll for course for free.
I pushed that one paper and stuff.
Hey, Dan,
Yeah.
we just enroll in the course for free.
Yeah, the free course.
Like to enroll.
And it's gonna have you register.
I pushed the same button and it didn't do anything.
I don't know if you guys are offered all these, but we're gonna be doing DFG distribution. How much time do I have? Oh, turns out I only have 3 minutes, but I'm glad I was able to show you this because we would like you to do this training. It doesn't take too long, and it's pretty self-explanatory, but it'll help you understand what these girls need, what we need to help them understand. In the meantime, I'm just going to show you this real quick. So this is what we are handing out to them. Pass this around.
Cam,
Yeah.
you can take a little more time.
Okay. Like how much more? Because this is going to take a second.
Yeah, if you want to do some more until 7:30, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, thanks. This is what we're gonna be handing out to them. This comes with 2 shields. These are the shields. And these are like the waterproof layer. They have inside what's called PUL, which is like I said, the waterproof layer. And these also snap around their underwear, so it's gonna be what holds the actual pad. Does that make sense? So then, inside of each one of these, there's 2 pads, or 1 pad, depending, just to show the girl, like, depending on their need, they can put in as many pads as they want. And these pads are the washable part. So you just take them out. We also give them a bar of soap, a washcloth, and a rag, and another bag. And this is what they use to actually wash the stuff. So we provide them with everything besides the water to do the maintenance of this. Also, they get 5 more, these are called liners. They get 5 more of these liners, so 8 total. And then the last thing in the kit is this little card. It's a menstrual card. And there's that also. And it shows how to use the kit and maintain it, and also just helps them keep track of when their menstruation is going to happen. I'm also just gonna, there's so much stuff to go over, guys. I'm just gonna have you guys take a glance at these, and do these trainings on your own, because it'll take a second to even get it set up. But yeah, do you guys have any questions about what we're talking about? I guess I'll just go through really quick as a last thing and show you each of the sections that we'll be discussing with the girls. So first off, we'll talk about puberty, because like it said in the video, they don't understand the puberty or the anatomy of what's happening. We'll also talk about intercourse. Along with that, we discuss that this is a consensual thing. Depending on the area, women don't understand that they have a choice. The menstrual cycle, the kids, we discuss how to care for them and what they do. Hygiene, self-defense is a big one. We discuss this, human trafficking, how to avoid it. Just a side note, there's another section, like I said, it showed you, men who know, where we help the men understand what they can do in their community to help the woman avoid sex trafficking. And then the last 2 are not really for the girls, it's more for your own training. So it's cultural considerations and moderation. But yeah, sorry, well, any questions?
Do you guys still do like every Wednesday? Where's that at?
Every Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Education Building 204. We can get you on our group meet to keep you updated if you'd like. Yeah, any other questions? Cool. Thanks, guys. Who's next?
Thank you, Ken. Can someone get the lights for me? Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Cam before we go on to talk about donations and logistics of the trip? No? Okay, while I'm talking, if anybody has not signed in, before you leave, please go ahead and sign in your name and your T number. I don't have the swipe, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that for you. Let me ask, how many of you have been on international trips before? Okay,
Okay, very good. So when I talk about logistics, you'll probably be able to answer some questions if there are any questions. So what time those of you who are experienced, who has gone to Panama or some other trips before, okay? So typically what time do we have everybody at the airport?
3 hours before departure.
Okay, so in this case, we will have everybody at the Las Vegas airport no later than 9 p.m. Okay, one really important thing is do not check your bags in. Okay, we will do that together. So what do you suppose we say, do not check your bags in? So those of you,
Distribute the weight.
exactly, very good. So we can distribute the weight of the baggages, because anything, is it 50 pounds? Anything over 50 pounds, you get charged. And you don't want to be doing that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead when you get there. By 9 p.m. you're going to go over to the Copa Airlines desk and just meet there. And Rita and I and all the students will all meet over there. One thing that we cannot stress enough is have your passport on you. Do not have it in your check-in baggage and do not have it in your carry-on. Just have it on you. And you need to remember during the whole trip to have that passport. Because if you don't have that passport with you, you're not getting out of the country, you're not getting in, and you're not getting out. And we don't want that happening to anybody. For those of you who are a little more experienced about the logistics going over there, what are some things that you would like to add to your travelers that are going with you? What was it, did you run into any problems as far as, what were some of the problems that you ran into as far as logistics? To get to the airport, being there on time? Oh, go ahead.
Are we on direct flights? I can't remember.
It is a
there
direct
that?
flight. Mhm.
Okay, that was the only issue we had. One girl missed a connection on the way home. They got stuck. But we
That's
should
a
have
good one.
that.
Okay. And I remember one good advice is there's safety in numbers. It's always good to travel. I mean, we'll be together, of course, but getting to the airport, it's always good to be traveling with other people. It forces you to be on time and get there on time. Yes.
Just simple logistic for like flying in general. Always check your carry-ons. Make sure you really don't have any of your pocket knives or scissors or whatever. I don't know. It's always the weirdest thing that you find that people have in their carry-ons. But always check your carry-ons. Make sure there's no big amounts of liquid and other things. Know what you can and cannot take in your bags.
Okay,
else
good
you'll get
point.
stopped.
Okay, good point. Anything else somebody wants to add? Those are really good points to pass on. Okay, let's go ahead. If we have no further questions, we will go ahead and go on to donations. I would like to add one more thing regarding the logistics. This is going to be our last meeting. We will not be meeting next Thursday. So please go to Facebook and keep the communication open in the Facebook. If you have any questions, go to the Facebook and communicate with each other. Also, you can come to the office, you can email myself, you can email Rita. There shouldn't be any reason not to have your questions answered because we are available. We're here to help you get there safely and on time, okay? Let's go ahead and go on to donations. First of all, I'd like to direct your attention to the board here. These are where some of the places you all have been for donations. Is there anybody that has not, do we have something else to put on here? What do we?
State Pharmacy.
Stapley?
Yeah. You said the Dixie kids are gonna see this, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
Dixie and the other, Stapley Pharmacy.
Yeah.
Okay, any other places that we don't have listed? Yes.
There's Dr. Denos in St. George.
Dr. who?
Dr. Denos, D-E-N-O-S.
D-E-N-O-S.
And then Dr. Prince, P-R-I-N-C-E.
P-R-I-N.
C-E.
Okay, and these are both in St. George?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Anything else?
We have plenty of days for girls' kids.
Okay.
We got all.
How many do we have? Plenty.
Yeah, we have enough for us to take like 500, but I was told 200.
Okay. And Rita did say that, the 200 is all we need. Okay, very good. Speaking of the asking for donations, does anybody need any letters? If you do, I'll put them up here. Okay, anyone here? You can, I'll just pass them around. Just pass them around. And if you need more, go ahead. There was an email that Dante sent. He had sent an email and it had quite a bit of attachments, if you remember. And we do ask, just read through them, please. Those are important information. One of the things he talked about.
Did you need one?
One of the things he talked about was urgent needs for the donations. It's in that email, but I'm going to go ahead and go over them real briefly here. Eye drops, Visine, those type of things. That is one of the priorities that he has. Also, we have Waffenseed. I'll probably just butcher that word, but it's to dry up your nasals. That is something that is important. The generic for Tylenol, which is acetaminophen. Okay, acetaminophen. Cortisone cream, antibiotics such as amoxicillin and ciprofloxacin. Okay. Children and adults, the vitamins for children and adults, that's a real high priority.
Did they say no gummies?
No gummies. Why did we say no gummies? They will melt, yeah, because it's hot over there, yeah. And they had an experience that wasn't very pleasant.
The same thing with the toothpaste they mentioned, don't have any like really fruity tasting toothpaste and stuff.
Oh yes, and the reason they do that is, yeah, they'll eat it. They don't know any different. So yeah, good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Ibuprofen, that's another important thing that we need. So let me hear back from you. How are you all doing with your donations? Where are we at besides this? I mean, are you having any problems going out and asking as far as are they receiving you well, asking for the donations? They're not having any questions? You're smiling at me like.
Yeah, no.
Okay, very good.
Last time, some people went to like hotels and asked for like the little soaps or whatever that they put in their rooms. And we gave out some of those, so I don't know. But that's just like another place rather than just like medicine. We wanted to do that.
Okay, good point. Now we are, so the donations, we are getting some donations in the office, and I did see quite a bit of those little soaps and shampoos from the hotel, so that's a good point on there. But the items that I covered, these are the priority items that Dante would like us to focus on, but good point, yeah. They certainly can use all of our other things that we need.
Are we bringing the donations to you in the office, or are we just bringing them when we go to the trip?
You can bring him with you on the trip. How has that worked in the past? Because I've seen both. This is my first trip, and for the DR trip that Rita did, I do remember where I saw lots of donations coming in. So those of you who are more experienced, please help me out.
So last year what we did is we all brought the bags that we were going to leave in Nicaragua and we packed them in one of these classes. So since we're not meeting again, we obviously can't do that, but we just like compiled all of our stuff into as little amount of package as we could.
Okay, and that's what they did for the DR trip. I remember we had the mentors and some of the staff, they were repacking some of the stuff. So having said that, go ahead and bring your stuff to the office.
I don't know, because it'll be hard because we're not meeting next week.
We may
so
not.
I
Right,
don't
we're
know.
not meeting next week, so let me clarify that with Rita
Okay.
and ask her on that, and then we'll go ahead and email her on that. So, she had a question, and I'll
Well, we
address
just
your
did
question.
like a packing party one day before we left, like pretty close to us leaving, so pretty much everyone had donations. And then we packed everything in that we could, and then we filled in kind of the days for girls stuff in the, whatever we were missing.
Okay, let me clarify that with Rita, and then we'll go ahead and see what she wants to do with that this time, seeing that we're not going to be meeting next week. That's a very good question. And you have a
It
question?
was just a redundant question, but the baggage for that we're allowed is one checked bag that was 60 linear inches.
Right, so we'll go ahead and verify that with you, but I'm not aware of the changes on that. So we'll confirm on the baggage with you on
Is
that.
that different than what was said before?
So there was two different pieces of information that was given, but my latest understanding is the one baggage, and then within that 60 inches. So we'll go ahead and I'll send information to confirm that, so we're all on the same page, okay? Good question. Any other questions? Okay, how about one last thought from those who have traveled international? Any other tidbits that you want to ask or add? We've got some time here. No?
Question.
Yes.
So we can take, always clarifying on this, we can take our carry-on and a bag with us on the plane and then a checked,
I checked one check baggage.
and then one for donations, or is that the extra?
That's what we're asking right now, is they don't, right now they said they were only allowed to have one checked bag, which
Right.
would mean only your stuff or
Or the donations.
or some mix between the two.
So on the carry-on, there's actually two carry-on. There's one, a personal item such as a purse or your backpack with your laptop, and then a regular carry-on. Okay, good question. Anything else? Yes.
Probably a good idea to keep a pen on you because you have to fill out the thing prior to arriving.
Very good. So did everybody hear that? Have a pen with you, because you will be filling out paperwork at the airport. Good point.
I'll hand it to you before you get off the plane.
Pardon?
They'll hand it to you before you get off the plane, and if you can fill it out on the plane before you get off, it's easiest.
Okay, very good. So everybody, and I'm sorry, what is it that you're filling out?
The declaration.
Yeah, it's to get into the country.
Okay, okay, very good.
Isn't it declaring like things that you're bringing in if you were bringing in like,
Yeah.
What's custom?
it's like
It's
fruit,
like through
a lot of
customs.
money, or it's typically not anything you have to worry about.
Okay, very good. So did everybody catch that? Bring a pen with you. And make sure the pen works. I've been known to have a pen and it doesn't work, so just make sure that it works for you. Okay, anything else? Okay, I think we'll go ahead and if you have, yes.
This is not trip related. Can I make a really quick announcement?
Oh, of course.
Okay, so if you guys didn't know, it's elections week this week.